economic data. The number of Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits unexpectedly fell last week by 6,000 to seasonally adjusted 289,000. This suggests that the labor market is continuing to strengthen. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin pointed his finger today yet again at his boogeyman. During his 3-hour annual end-of-year conference in Moscow, the defiant leader blamed Russia's financial collapse and problems entirely on the West, but he also says that he will lead the country to a rebound. He did say, though, that it could take at least 2 years to get to that. For more now, we turn to FTN financial economist Jay Morelock. Jay, we'll get to the Russians in just a minute, but let's talk about the economic news in the U.S. that we just reported. The number of jobless applications down. Is this real growth in the jobs market, or is this like the conservatives say, this is just more people giving up and throwing in the towel? Well,
it's two fronts. So on the first page, you have people who are not filing for unemployment benefits as much as they were. So that's a very good sign. But on the opposite side of that, where we are missing is the growth in the labor market. So while people aren't losing their jobs, what we haven't seen yet is the rebound in job growth.
Now, moving on to that meeting by the Fed, were you surprised that they decided to, again, wait before making a decision to raise interest rates?
Not at all. I think the switch to patience was an interesting turn from considerable time period. But really what they're saying is both of their dual mandates, both prices and the labor market, both point to further accommodation. Interest rates are going to be low, and really what they're signaling to the market right now is we're going to be very patient before they use interest rate increases to slow down the economy.
Okay, so with all of this roller coaster ride over the last 6 weeks, what's your take on the economy? How does it end? What does the beginning of the next year look like?
Sure, we're still growing at 2%. We've been growing at 2% really since about 2011, and really we're missing this gap. So this 2%, what we really want is this mid 3.5% GDP growth, which has remained elusive throughout the recovery. I think next year will be more of the same. I think we'll grow right around 2%. And any forecast calling for this 3 and 3.5% will be optimistic again going into 2015.
So let's go across the big pond and across some real estate as well over to Vladimir Putin and the Russian problems. Does he really have what it takes to diversify his economy given his lack of control over Russia? Let's remember that just a year ago, he was quite boisterous after the invasion of Crimea and thinking that he couldn't be touched by what he described as the toothless tiger.
Yes. Well, he's experiencing a double whammy right now. His currency is falling in value, and also oil prices are going down. Because oil prices are priced in dollar, this is truly a double whammy for his economy. It's going to take time. He said 2 years. It's going to take longer than 2 years to diversify. But a lot of this hinges on, do oil prices stay low or do they come back up? If oil prices retrace back up into the $80, $90 range, it'll give him a little bit more breathing room. But if they remain down in the 50 handle, he's going to be in serious trouble.
Now, let's see if there's any splashover effect. I mean, the common thought is that the Saudis are doing this in a way to pressure Russia and the Iranians. But if oil drops any lower, what kind of an effect negatively could that have on the U.S. economy?
Well, in the U.S. economy, it's going to be more through a transmission mechanism via Russia through Europe. So Russia has much more trade ties with Europe, but if Europe hit a further recession right now, that is going to be the impact of U.S., mainly for our exports and trade. But that will absolutely affect the U.S., whereas just a drop in oil prices is really a net positive for our country.
Jay Morelock, thank you so much. Always insightful.
Thanks for having me, Gary.